Hello everybody, Jardis here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks about dyes. Now this video will mostly be focused towards newer players who have just started playing Guild Wars 2, although there will be some information that some veteran players might find beneficial depending on whether or not they already know them. Now, when you first start playing Guild Wars 2 for the first time, you are given a very limited selection of dyes that you can use to change the color of your gear and outfits. They will appear right here in your dye categories for starters. And that's not very many, but as you progress through the game, you will be given more dye colors. Some will be rewarded to you through events, others you can find as random drops by killing mobs. You can even buy them in the trading post or be awarded to you through a birthday celebration package if your character has been around for at least a year after their creation. That does not mean that that character has to be in game for a year, it just means they have had to have been created a year prior. Now, as you look at this, you'll notice that all the dyes seem a little jumbled together. And for some people who are looking for a very specific color set, that might be a little jarring. Well, there is an easier way to make it easier, to find a very particular colors of hues that you want if you're going for a very specific look. If you click on this gear here where it says sort colors and click on by hue, it sorts all the colors by that hue. Here are all the grays, the browns, all the reds, as well as the oranges and yellows, greens, blues, and purples. This makes it just easier to find a very particular hue set that you are trying to find. For example, if you want greens, instead of, you can select all the different types of greens and see what they look like, without having to, say, for example, having to go back and forth through all this jumble trying to figure out which ones did I look at, which ones did I not look at, etc. You can also sort it by material, which will be giving you the options of searching through vibrant colors, as well as natural leather and natural metallic. This is actually a rather handy tool if you want your character to look more medieval, for example, like if you want him to look like a character from a D&D that you were playing, so you can make your character a little more authentic, I guess is the word I want to use, but this is just my opinion. Now, if you go by set, it will return you to what is the default setting. This is usually where it has all the common dyes together, the uncommons, the rares, and exclusives. Now, as I'm scrolling up and down through this collection that I have, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, that's a lot of dyes. Do you have them all? Well, to answer that question, the answer is no, I do not have them all. How do I know if I'm missing dyes? Instead of having to search up and down and trying to go through the Wikipedia and going through the trading post for hours, it's actually a lot simpler if you just click on this gear here and go to where it says Show Locked. If you click on this, more dyes will appear that have a little lock icon on them. This is to indicate dyes that your account has not yet unlocked. Dyes are account bound when you unlock them, so that if a character finds a new dye and unlocks it, all of your characters on that account will have access to that dye. Now, what is the point of looking at dyes that you don't already have? Well, if you're looking for a very specific dye that you don't have, you can actually preview these dyes and see what they look like. For example, you will not be able to use them, of course, but it will at least give you the option to show your character what it looks like while using that color. Now, say that you find a dye that you don't already have, and you decide, you know what, you want to see if they have it available in the trading post. Well, you could hover over it and see the name and type that in the search engine, or, to make it even easier, if you right-click on that dye, you'll be given the small option to either add to favorites, which will add it up in here, or you can find in trading. And if you click on find in trading, it'll bring up the trading post window where you can buy it instantly, making it a little bit easier to obtain. Now, when I say add to favorites, for example, Basically, what that is that it makes it so that the dies that you prefer to use the most often are a lot easier to find. They will appear with little heart icons on them in the selective category, or to make it even easier to find, they will appear up here. Now you can also use the die remover up here if you don't like the color of your outfit or gear and you want to see what it looked like originally. This is the tool you would use. Now, another thing I should point out that some people are a little unnerved about at first, at least I was initially. I don't know if it holds the same true for you or not, but just to put your fears to rest, using a die and hitting apply does not use any transmutation charges. Changing the colors of your outfit and gear, as well as gliders, mounts, and skiffs, require 0 transmutation charges. You can change your dies as often as you'd like and in what way you would like, so there's no limit. So feel free to go nuts and add some color to your life. I hope you enjoy. Feel free to share this information with other new players as well as those who may or may not know about this information. And I will see you again in the next video. Happy gaming!